It's Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Good evening and welcome to the daily happenings inside our federal machine. This is Spathon and it's time to plunge into the swamp to see what happened today. The big story of the day, the big water cooler convo, the talk of the town. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton just got his Maryland house and office raided by the FBI this morning. And also Cracker Barrel, they're already back in the news. CEO Julie Masino says the backlash over the restaurant's rebranding is just coming from the vocal minority. Even Steak and Shake comes out and dunks on Cracker Barrel. The Trump administration announced that the federal government has acquired a 10% stake in the company Intel. Also, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy had his first retail drone delivery today from Walmart, and he's claiming these services will be a game changer. Also, Kelly Loeffler, the U.S. Small Business Administrator, announced that the federal government is still pursuing every fraudulent dollar that was obtained from COVID-related business loans. And the Trump administration announced that most Canadian retaliatory tariffs are being removed, with the exception of steel and aluminum. The Trump admin also killed a massive offshore wind project off the Connecticut and Rhode Island coastlines, which was greenlit by the Biden administration. And NORAD announced today that on Wednesday, Russian spy planes flew into Alaskan airspace and had to be intercepted by F-16 fighters. The same thing also happened just the day before on Tuesday. So what are they looking for? And for the first time in a while, the Army recruitment goal has been exceeded by 10%, and there's even a surge in women signing up too. And there's lots more to dig through, so we're just going to dive right in. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you leave a comment, I might just read it on the next episode. So we're first going to start here with Right Angle News Network. Breaking: after losing nearly $100 million in stock value from its rebrand, Cracker Barrel's CEO is doubling down, saying only a vocal minority is upset and that the chain is, quote, moving in the right direction, end quote. And of course, if you haven't seen yet, they obviously changed their logo from the original from like 1972, I think it was, up until right now, 2025. It's lost all of its flavor, all of its charm, all of its culture. It's just looks bland, boring, woke, stupid. They got rid of the cracker and the barrel. That was kind of the running joke online. I'm not sure if that's literally a cracker and his barrel. But hey, it makes sense to me. So anyway, this comes from Steak and Shake. This is from the Steak and Shake. See? Steak and Shake. Cracker Barrel is in denial. Apparently, anyone who disagrees with them is in the minority. It is convenient for the company to blame the logo and the historical decor for its woes rather than address its underlying problems: surface, portion size, product quality, and price. The CEO talks about the great buzz generated by changing the decor, but she cannot point to improving results. Until she is replaced, a great American brand will continue to decline. Save Cracker Barrel. And I don't think that they're necessarily competitors, but they are both Steak and Shake and Cracker Barrel. They're both historical, from days past kind of decor. You feel like you're walking into in through a time machine of sorts when you're walking into Cracker Barrel, like from out in the country from, I don't know, like the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even like the 1800s. I guess depending on which part of the restaurant you're sitting at, according to the decor. I mean, yeah, it kind of gives like an 1800s general store kind of feel. Very rustic, very charming, just a great place. Went there a lot when I was a kid. I think all of us did at some point. But Steak and Shake has more of the, mid 20th century feel with the black and white. And yeah, it's just another really cool place. It's like you're walking back in time when you're going into either one of those restaurants. So I guess they're similar in that way, but that's probably where their similarities end. That and their food has been reasonably priced historically. Steak and Shake, they're still actually not that bad, at least not the ones that I'm living near. I mean, like burgers, I think they're still like $5-6, even after the whole COVID bullshit happened. But anyway, so they were responding to Fox News, which was posted 12 hours ago. New Cracker Barrel is dismissing critics of its new logo as vocal minority, claiming the chain is moving in the right direction. So Fox News made a mention of it. Also, End Wokeness, Cracker Barrel holds a pop-up event in New York City to celebrate their rebrand. Let's take a quick look at this. This ought to be hilarious. Hang on just one second. Of course, I got to do my sound checks. That's what I always got to do. Make sure I'm not blowing out eardrums here. Actually, there might not even be sound. Oh, yeah, there is. There is. Sorry, my bad. Oh, you gotta love the copyright. I love the smell of copyright in the evening. That's okay, though. I'm not worried about it. All right, so that was ridiculous. And matter of fact, there were actually some hilarious comments. Let's see if I can find them. That one was kind of whatever. Oh, yeah. So she's Canadian. I first saw her on Trailer Park Boys. She was she was Jim Leahy's daughter from like the second season, I think. First, maybe second season. Absolutely got beyond woke. But she was also in that movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio, the Christopher Nolan movie from back in like 2010. But yeah, talk about a crazy ass change. Are they them serving beer? Gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. There's rumors that I've heard that Dylan Mulvaney is not really who he or she claims he or she really is, and that he's just playing a character and he's doing it for profit, for clicks, for clout, for content. Not really sure how true that is, but I don't know. I've heard that mentioned in the past, like during the whole Bud Light debacle. Like somebody was convinced that Dylan Mulvaney is just trolling everybody and making a shitload of money in the process. I don't know. I don't follow that shit. Apparently, he's over on TikTok doing whatever the hell he's doing right now. All right, so moving on to local or logical Zeb. So weird. I love Cracker Barrel, which they actually placed something else there that wasn't there. There was some other message there. I actually just saw this original post today. And I think it was actually posted by a government entity. It might actually be on my bookmarks list, but I don't think that I actually bookmarked it, but we might actually see the original. But yeah, they obviously covered up the original, but that's still hilarious. It was viral. That's why they had that up there, because it was a popular image that was shared today. Sterile barrel. Flag on the post. Unnecessary gayness. Come and take it. Uh-oh. Yep. Well, I think they already took it, dude. I think they've already changed it. Crack barrel. Oh, man, you gotta love it. Hilarious. Cackling burger. Or barrel, cackle barrel. Cracker Barack. Gay. Crack barrel. Tony, man. It's hilarious, man. The right, they can meme. Left can't meme. They can't meme for shit, but the right can meme. They're pretty good at it. Anyway. Gay. Yeah, whatever. I got no problem with gay people. I really don't. But I do have a problem with them trying to police our speech. Not gay people. I'm talking about just the powers that be in general, trying to politically correct everything, where you can't say the FAG word anymore. Like when two guys are like meeting up and like, hey, what's up, FAG? Not much, bitch. Just the banter. You can't do that anymore. Remember back in like the 2000s on the internet, that word was flying around like it was just as common as the word the. It was all over the place. Oh yeah, Aunt Jemima and Land O'Lakes, and I'm trying to think. Is that Uncle Ben's? I can't remember this one. Oh my god, I can't remember it. Oh, what the fuck, man? Yeah, you can roast me in the comments for forgetting this. It's like cream of wheat, isn't it? I don't think it's cream of wheat. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, that sucks because I know that. I'm just drawing a blank right now. I wasn't expecting that to happen. All right, Spirit Halloween. That's funny. It's coming. People who go to Cracker Barrel. People who enjoy pop-up events. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yep, Cracker Barrel. Very sexy. The new Cracker Barrel, not so much. Weird. American made when you've achieved that top tier Cracker Barrel status. Cracker Barrel has blocked you. Oh man, I would take that as a badge of honor for sure. To get blocked by Cracker Barrel in this environment right now. Oh yeah, man, take that as a win. Cackler Barrel. Of course, they could have edited that. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been that hard to do, but I'll assume they're doing it. Crabber Barrel. Man, they are lighting them up. And this isn't even on the Cracker Barrel's page or anything. I mean, it's on End Wokeness, and rightfully so. Them dancing this goofy dance in, what was the district? I think it's actually mentioned somewhere else. It's in New York City where this whole pop-up thing happened. The meat something district. I never been to New York City, not familiar. Anyway, so from Colin Rugg, Cracker Barrel says Most people love their rebrand, and only the vocal minority opposes the company's changes, according to a statement released to Fox News Digital. Cracker Barrel is convinced people actually love the rebrand. Quote, feedback from both guests and team members have been overwhelmingly positive and enthusiastic about the refreshed dining and shopping experience. The statement to Fox News Digital read, yeah, when you're living in an echo chamber and you're only listening to people around you who you're probably just paying anyway, they're not listening to the masses. I guarantee that Cracker Barrel is going to take a nasty hit almost immediately. They're going to go the way of Bud Light, I think. It may not be as harsh as Bud Light, but it's probably not going to be far from it. All right, so what is this? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So this is a statement that she gave, or interview, or whatever, from May. This is from May. Let me turn it up.
We've been very transparent about our goal of making our stores feel brighter and even more welcoming.
Nobody asked for that. We want rustic. We want corrugated metal and wood.
We're just looking at ways to freshen up the experience so that we can open our door a bit wider for more guests.
Why?
And when we think about what we're trying to do,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It really is, again, about listening to what the guests ask for and what the guests...
They're not asking for this.
Examples of what the guests ask for are things like spaces that feel brighter, that feel less cluttered, more booth seating.
Dude, when I go into a Cracker Barrel, I want to go in there imagining myself in my great-great-great-great-grandparents' house and what their house must have looked like way back when, down on the farm, like back in the mid or early 1800s. That's what I want to see. That's the experience that I want when I go in there. I want to feel like that I'm like going legit back in time and I'm eating some like old-fashioned home-cooked meal. I don't want to go in feeling like I'm walking into just some bland-ass diner.
More seating options, so our guests are more comfortable while they're dining with us.
You ain't gonna need those seating options. That ain't happening.
People like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring
God, this lady's woke as fuck, man. Oh my God.
And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
She is tanking this company.
The feedback
it's
and the
over.
Is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Oh my God.
Julie Masino is...
She's going to be so gone in 3 months.
Thank you for answering those questions for all the Cracker Barrel fans out there. There's a lot of great changes.
Thank you so much.
No,
all right, thank
no.
you. Robin?
Can I get in writing that the peg game is going to stay?
The peg game is staying.
Okay.
So are the rocking chairs, fireplace, vintage decor. It's all there.
All right. Okay.
Oh my God, dude, this is so fucking cringe. It is unbelievably cringe, but we're not done yet. We got a little bit more, I think. Yeah. Okay. So this is from DC Drano. Let it forever be known, Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Masino and CMO Sarah Moore have destroyed their careers. They spit in their customers' faces and tore down decades of brand loyalty because they wanted to be woke girl bosses. They now join former Bud Light marketing idiot Alyssa Heinerscheid as the most abysmal 3 women you could hire for your company. 100%. Now, somebody, I think I got it. Here. Never mind. So this is also from DC Drano. Now, oh look, 2 of the 3 largest stockholders in Cracker Barrel are BlackRock and Vanguard. Go figure. The DEI and ESG kings of Wall Street. Now do you see why their girl boss puppets did what they did? This is an intentional erasure of American heritage. Yeah. And it seems like it's just, obviously it's intentional, but it seems like a company as large as them, they're perfectly fine taking the hit. And if that's actually the case, if that's really their motive, I would really start digging deep into their portfolios to see what else they plan on ruining in the coming months or years. Because I'm sure there's plenty. But don't they have like stock or like stakeholders, shareholders, or whatever? I mean, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, they don't own like $20 trillion. They manage that much, but it's not their money to manage. They're managing, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it is their money because I'm sure they're getting insane profits, especially after COVID. Could you imagine the amount of money? Look, I'm actually going to look that up real quick because that I'm just like morbidly curious about how much money. Oh shit, I should have said short answer. Let's see. Over the last 5 years. Oh, come on, dude. I don't want. Oh, okay. So they profited $5 billion in 2023. 5, 5, 3, and 4. Actually, not as high as I would have expected it to be. So about $25 billion BlackRock has earned. Vanguard Group. Let's see. Profits primarily from fee waivers and internal ops. They grew from 7.2 to 9.3. Wait, all right, hold on. Anyway, cumulative net income is 42 billion. State Street, it's looking like 15.5 billion. I mean, it's not small amounts. It's absolutely an insane, absurd amount of money. So needless to say, something like Cracker Barrel, it's like a little rink-a-dink restaurant chain as far as they're concerned. I don't think they really, their portfolio isn't going to take a massive hit if Cracker Barrel just goes completely belly up, which I fully expect them to do so. And I don't think I commented on any of these, but I left a comment earlier today mentioning that Cracker Barrel is delivering a golden opportunity to anybody who's ever wanted to open a chain of restaurants and they have the capital to do so. All you have to do is basically copy paste Cracker Barrel's original image, open up a restaurant that kind of looks like, that has like a little general store in it. Now, obviously you can't do it too closely because of copyright, trademark infringement and stuff like that. But open up an old-timey, rustic, old-fashioned restaurant that has just good old home country cooked meals, and you're set, man. Get one fireplace, add 2 fireplaces. Cracker Barrel doesn't have 2, or just add 2. I think that would be a pretty decent idea because anybody who enjoyed going to Cracker Barrel on a regular basis, I highly doubt they're going to keep going because they're probably not doing it for the food. Because I heard that they either did change their menus or they portioned them less, something like that. Like they fudged around with something with regard to their menu, I think. But I haven't been there since before all this happened. I think the last time I was in Cracker Barrel was probably like 7 years ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 years. It's been a while. All right, so anyway, let's move on from Cracker Barrel and head over here to Secretary Sean Duffy. How cool is this? I just received my first drone delivery. Game changer. Thanks at Wing, which is Wing offers drone delivery. Our fleet of lightweight autonomous delivery drones can transport small packages directly from businesses, so on and so forth. And Walmart for demoing how they are flying deliveries right to your front porch. U.S. Department of Transportation is leading on American innovation so more communities can benefit from this exciting tech. Aren't you excited for this, y'all? You really excited for this? Oh my God, it's so exciting.
Texas, talking about American innovation driven by President Trump. So we have Wing that is doing drone deliveries. They partnered with Walmart. This is the innovation that's happening.
Notice how they're playing the sound so you can't hear the drone.
You don't have to get in your
the music,
car.
I mean.
You don't have to have something delivered to you. To your front lawn, right here. Look, the package comes down. It disconnects, and what do? I walk to the front lawn.
You pick it up.
Now, by the way, Walmart can send, Ring can send about a little less than 3 pound packages, which
a little
is
less
a
than
ton
3
of
pounds.
items in the store. About half the products you can have sent by drone delivery. Little OJ, right? You know, keep a little strength going, but you know, cold caffeine right here. Again, easy, click of a button. Moments later, a drone's coming over.
And how much is that going to cost?
This is the innovation that we are driving.
You spend like 20 bucks on a freaking bottle of orange
Include
juice.
a deck on rules and regulations. to
Freaking
make
iced
sure
coffee.
We can safely see the innovators and innovation happen in America, not in other countries, but right here with American workers, American engineers, and again, delivering great American products. This is so cool.
Look, dude, I think people are already tapped out from those buy now, pay later, Klarna and those other services. And I don't know if people can really afford to be doing this shit for much longer, just having all this stuff delivered to your house. Not so sure about it. Honestly, I think this is a banger of an idea when it comes to prescriptions, medication. If you're sick and you have something contagious, I think that's an awesome idea for them to deliver it by drone so you don't have to go possibly get other people sick. I think that's a great idea to do something like that. But I felt that they conveniently played the music over the drone because the drone's probably really loud because drones are loud. So that's the primary issue that I have with these things because They're very noisy. And if they're as prominent as they're making it sound like they're going to be, it's going to sound like an angry swarm of bees constantly throughout neighborhoods. Drone flies by here, drone flies by there. Especially the Amazon ones. The Amazon ones look big. And those are going to be really loud, I'm sure. Just that extremely loud humming and buzzing. Just sounds really off-putting to me, to say the least. So, yeah. So, anyway, I left a comment to that effect about the drone noise. And, so Doge AI, this is interesting. Doge AI is pushing back against this. Usually Doge AI is in agreement. Not to say that it's really biased, but it kind of seems like it is biased for the most part toward Republican members of Congress and politicians and administrators that are posting on X. And it's usually pushing back pretty heavily against Democrats, but rightfully so, because Democrats, they say just brain dead shit all the time on X, constantly. But anyway, listen to this. The Drone Act of 2025 authorizes DOJ grants for public safety drones, but this Walmart partnership exposes the scam. Taxpayer funds meant for law enforcement are subsidizing corporate delivery networks. Section 2A amends Byron grants to let bureaucrats redirect anti-crime cash into big retail's logistics ops. Innovation, more like fleecing Main Street to fuel big tech's airspace monopoly. Public safety drones should patrol borders or disaster zones, not drop snacks for suburbanites while real crime surges. Classic DC bait and switch. Sell safety grants, deliver corporate welfare. I thought that was a really interesting take, and I really appreciate this automated system. I don't know who's really behind it. I don't know if it's something that Elon Musk has any control over, or if it is something that's run by Doge in the government. Not sure. It doesn't have a great check, so. But I thought that was a really interesting take, because I didn't really think of it that way. That this Drone Act of 2025 is supposed to be pertaining to security, policing, safety, stuff like that. Probably disaster situations and things like that, like where perhaps small businesses, such as like CVS, for example, if there's something going on with regard to some illness or, like, God forbid, a COVID 2.0 type of situation, they could drone deliver shit to your house, and you don't have to go, and whether if you stand in line or if you're going into a store and you're contagious, for instance. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting, that especially if they're getting government funding. I'd be curious to know if Walmart really did get any government funding to get this thing off the ground, because if anybody doesn't deserve government funding, it's fucking Walmart, dude. They got plenty of money. They should be completely paying for that on their own. So anyway, yeah, pass. I don't like this is where this is going. You don't have to leave home. You don't have to get in your car. It's only useful for the sick or elderly who can't get around on their own. Anyone see the movie WALL-E? Yeah, that's a very good point. Let's see. I don't like this. It takes away jobs. That's also a good point. Less delivery jobs. Let's see. I appreciate the job you're doing, but nobody wants a squadron of drones buzzing around their neighborhood. No, absolutely not. Somebody said that they were worried about it being very invasive, about how they have cameras. How long is the estimate to require that all drone cameras to tie together into a government-used surveillance network? Like the NSA, for instance, or some other intelligence agency. You never know. I mean, Edward Snowden, he was dropping, bombs with regard to surveillance back when he was in the NSA, when he leaked all that information. I don't know how accurate the movie is, but correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they have the capability of turning on anybody's camera phone whenever they damn well please? Of course, everybody's giving control of their camera phones to all kinds of companies. Whenever you download an app, any kind of app, even if the app doesn't primarily use your camera, you're giving that app consent to use literally everything in your phone. I mean, people do it all the time. It's crazy. But yeah, anyway, so definitely let me know in the comments what you think about this. At first, I was pretty excited when Amazon announced way back in like 2011 or 2012 when they were talking about the drone delivery program, and they were beta testing it, but there were government regulations in place, and they couldn't get, no pun intended, they couldn't get it off the ground because there was the airspace issues with commercial flights and stuff like that, so they weren't able to really go anywhere with it. But obviously now they've got the opportunity to. So, and Amazon, they've been working on that for over a decade, so they might already have the infrastructure in place to just simply roll it out. Especially if their lobbying firm or whoever the hell is in cahoots with Washington, D.C., if they got this information ahead of time, they've probably been working up to this. So, all right. But anyway, so that happened. And let's move on to Kelly Loeffler. SBA is committed to clawing back every dollar of COVID fraud that was carried out at the expense of the American people. We will hold criminal fraudsters accountable and prosecute bad actors to the fullest extent of the law. And this will be found on Breitbart. Exclusive. SBA admin Kelly Loeffler. Senator Joni Ernst cheer guilty plea of SBA official for $500,000 in COVID loan fraud. Small Business Administration Administrator Kelly Loeffler and Senator Joni Ernst, Republican of Iowa, cheered a guilty plea by an SBA loan officer who had approved over $500,000 in fraudulent loans for herself and relatives. The Department of Justice on Tuesday announced that Rena Barrett, a former SBA loan officer, pled guilty on August 11th to making false statements with applications exceeding $550,000 in fraudulent pandemic-era loans. Barrett, in May of 2021, submitted a fraudulent request to the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, a pandemic-era loan program, for $170,000. SBA denied her the loan. Barrett then approved the loan herself. The SBA subsequently discovered that she approved loans she and her relatives had submitted. Barrett received about half of the $550,000 in loans that she sought to obtain. Loeffler, the head of the SBA, said that the guilty plea represents the Trump administration's efforts to crack down on pandemic-era fraud. As I announced on day one, SBA is committed to clawing back every dollar of COVID fraud that was carried out at the expense of the American people over the last 4 years. Loeffler told Breitbart News in a written statement, "The guilty plea out of Atlanta represents our latest win in the continuous effort to hold criminal fraudsters accountable and prosecute bad actors to the fullest extent of the law." Justice Department managed to get 2 other guilty pleas related to coronavirus aid fraud. In a related case, April 15th, Sheena Thompson, 49, of Conyers, Georgia, pled guilty to a criminal information charging her with making false statements to the SBA. Thompson admitted to trying to obtain more than $150,000 in fraudulent EIDL loans. Barrett is scheduled to be sentenced on November 12th of this year, and Thompson is scheduled to be sentenced on August 28th. And then also this other individual, Deetra Lewis, 40, of Atlanta, making false statements to the SBA. She obtained over $1.25 million after submitting a false Paycheck Protection Program loan application on behalf of God's Anointed Youth Ministry. And she's scheduled to be sentenced on November 14th. So there's a bit more information here if you want to read through more of it. I'll leave it in the description below. It'll start with Breitbart.com, as that's where this is. And yeah, not good. Those PPP loans, man, they're coming after everybody. And I don't know if they've rounded up most of the people yet, but if you ever get on TikTok, you can go over there and you can just search for PPP fraud or PPP loan fraud. You'll get a lot of videos of people who are freaking out because they took out loans for businesses that they never owned in the first place because, well, I did it because everybody else was doing it. My friend told me to do it. They applied for $10,000 and they got it within like 2 hours. So, why wouldn't I do it? All I had to do was tell them that I had a business. Well, now they're all facing legit prison time. Like they're getting anywhere from like 5 to 10 or even more than that. There was one lady, I think she got 2. I think it was her and her husband. They each got 1. And they ended up getting hit with wire fraud. And there was one other charge. I can't remember what it is offhand, but she ended up getting 9 years for it. And she took like 10 grand. So not good, man. Yep, they're coming after everybody. The government, they're going to get their money back one way or another, especially if you lied about it. So that's happening. Look forward to that if you conned the government during the COVID era. They're coming after you. All right, so from New York Post, Pentagon unveils new medal for troops deployed in Trump's southern border crackdown. They're issuing a new medal, the Pentagon. They unveil new medal for troops deployed in Trump's southern border crackdown. The Pentagon has created a new medal for service members who've deployed to the southern border to assist federal law enforcement with President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. The Pentagon unveiled plans for a Mexican border defense medal for U.S. troops serving with Joint Task Force Southern Border, according to a new memo the Pentagon released August 13th that was shared on social media. A U.S. defense official confirmed the authenticity of the memo to Fox News Digital on Wednesday. Now, service members will receive the Mexican Border Defense Medal, the MBDM, instead of the Armed Forces Service Medal, the AFSM, like they previously earned for supporting Customs and Border Protection at the border. The Armed Forces Service Medal, created in 1996 by former President Bill Clinton, is awarded to troops who have participated in a military operation with significant activity but didn't encounter foreign armed opposition or imminent hostile action, according to a U.S. Army description of the medal. Well, good, man. They should have come out with this idea a while ago. The Pentagon said in July that approximately 8,500 military personnel are assigned to Joint Task Force Southern Border and have been tasked with responding to security threats there. The task force got underway in March and completed approximately 3,500 patrols between then and July, according to the Pentagon. Those eligible for the award must have deployed since January 20th to support Customs and Border Protection and served within 100 nautical miles from the international border shared with Mexico in either Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, or California. Those who served in adjacent waters up to 24 nautical miles away from the border are also eligible. So very cool. A little bit more info down there if you want to check that out. So that's good. Good news. It's pretty cool. They're offering new medals from the Pentagon. At least one. So this is from Jay Bhattacharya, MD, PhD. Today, the NIH has released its implementation plan for incorporating gold standard science into everything we do. The plan incorporates the 9 tenets of gold standard science adopted by the U.S. government and aligns with HHS Gov's framework for achieving these principles. The tenets of gold science, which includes is it reproducible, if it's transparent, and it's communicative of error and uncertainty, collaborative and interdisciplinary, skeptical of its findings and assumptions, structured for falsifiability of hypotheses, subject to unbiased peer review, accepting of negative results as positive outcomes, and without conflicts of interest. I can't believe they're just now doing this. This should have been the gold standard for like a freaking century. So I was like, you mean this hadn't always been the case? How do we screen out compromised peer review? Applause for these initiatives, but the science is only as strong as the compromised consensus. Absolutely. And guess where all these scientists are graduating from? They're all getting their degrees in these big universities, the ones that tend to be run by a lot of progressives, far leftists, and hair on fire Trump derangement syndrome professors. So, and unfortunately, they come out with a political bias because they're learning about left-wing politics and how anybody who's right from center is just some evil right-wing, alt-right, deranged Nazi or some shit. I don't know. But that's basically the gist of it. Hopefully, that won't keep becoming the case, but I don't have a lot of faith in it. I think a lot of the science that's out these days, very unfortunately, has a political bias or an agenda behind it, which is really sad and terrifying, to be honest. So, anyway, but that's good that they're at least implementing these tenets of gold standard science in the NIH. So, absolutely something that should have been the case for decades and decades. All right, so Caroline Levitt, Trump scores trade win as Canada removes several retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. That comes out of Daily Wire. Canada is removing tariffs on most products from the United States, but will keep in place a 25% levy on U.S. steel and aluminum. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney announced on Friday that the country was suspending many of its retaliatory tariffs on the United States after the Trump administration reaffirmed its commitment to the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, the USMCA. Canada is removing tariffs on most products from the United States, but will keep in place a 25% levy on U.S. steel, aluminum, and vehicles, since those products are not directly covered under the USMCA. In March, Canada placed a 25% tariff on many U.S. products after the Trump administration imposed a 25% duty on Canadian steel and aluminum. Bloomberg was first to report on Carney's announcement, saying that the move appears to be the Canadian government extending an olive branch to President Donald Trump. No, I doubt it. It's because Canada desperately needs us. It's because Canada's economy is in fucking shambles right now. You know how much money it costs to get the average house in Canada? It's $700,000 for the average priced house in Canada. You think our inflation's bad? Shit is bad in Canada. But they keep voting for it. They keep voting for left-wingers who just keep, whatever it is that they're doing, taxing them into oblivion. I don't even know what at this point. Nothing good. Nothing helpful. Probably pushing all these entitlement programs for people who just refuse to work while everybody else has to pay like triple of what they did, not even a decade ago probably. Anyway, quote, as in previous trade disputes, Canada has implemented a series of retaliatory tariffs. Their objectives have been to protect Canadian workers and businesses and to incentivize a negotiated settlement with the United States. A few other countries followed suit, Carney said. In a positive and very important development earlier this month, just a few weeks ago, the United States reaffirmed a core commitment to our free trade agreement by reinforcing that those Canadian exports to the United States that are compliant with that agreement will not be subject to tariffs. As a result of that decision by the United States, the actual U.S. tariff rate on Canadian goods is 5.6%, Carney added. Compare that to the 16% global average. That remains the lowest among all of the United States trading partners, and more than 85% of Canada-U.S. trade is now tariff-free. So that's a good thing. Not bad. While Trump signed an order in late July imposing a 35% tariff on Canadian goods, the White House clarified that most products are exempt under the USMCA, putting the actual average tariff rate on Canada at 5.6%. The Prime Minister said that Canada has the best trade deal with the United States as the numbers stand right now. White House official told CNBC that Canada's move was long overdue, adding, "We look forward to continuing our discussions with Canada on the administration's trade, national security concerns, and so on and so forth, yada yada." So you get the idea. But good news. It's good news. It's not bad news. Definitely better news for Canada for sure. Because, yeah, I'm sure they were just getting probably just economically obliterated by putting up retaliatory tariffs up against the United States. Because, you know, when it comes to trade and tariffs, you probably don't want to fuck around with President Trump. All I'm saying. So this comes from J.D. Vance. Sergio, he was just announced, it was just announced that Sergio Gore is going to be the next ambassador to the Republic of India. So J.D. Vance says, Sergio is a great guy and will make a fantastic ambassador for our country and to India. So much of our success over the last few months was due to Sergio's hard work. I'm grateful to POTUS for giving him this new role. And this is from President Trump's Truth Social post. I am pleased to announce that I am promoting Sergio Gore to be our next United States ambassador to the Republic of India and special envoy for South and Central Asian affairs. As director of presidential personnel, Sergio and his team have hired nearly 4,000 America First patriots across every department of our federal government in record time. Our departments and agencies are over 95% filled. Sergio will remain in his current role at the White House until his confirmation. Sergio is a great friend who has been at my side for many years. He worked on my historic presidential campaigns, published my best-selling books, and ran one of the biggest super PACs which supported our movement. Sergio's role as Director of Presidential Personnel has been essential to delivering on the unprecedented mandate that we received from the American people. For the most populous region in the world, it is important that I have someone I can fully trust to deliver on my agenda and help us make America great again. Sergio will make an incredible ambassador. Congratulations to Sergio. So way to go, man. We've got a new ambassador to India, and it's Sergio. There were a lot of people, not just J.D. Vance, but there were a bunch of other officials who were sending out their condolences through X. So I decided just to grab J.D.'s. And this comes from Secretary Kennedy. A little segue here, just a slight one. Thank you, Romero Brito, for adorning our HHS building with your inspiring artwork. And they did. They added some art to the HHS building. Secretary Kennedy joined Brito Pop Art outside of our Hubert H. Humphrey building in Washington, D.C. for the unveiling of the new art installation. The artwork is a celebration of active living, healthy food, and, most importantly, reminds us of our mission to make America healthy again. So this is the artwork, and I'm assuming that's the artist right there. That's a big-ass banner. It's going way up. Yep, so that happened today. What is that, like 5 stories tall? Maha, look at that. They even put Maha at the bottom. Ain't that cool? Way to go, man. Good artist skills. Brito. Oh, Romero Brito. That's his name. Romero Brito. Brito. Founder of the Happy Art Movement. Life is also about having fun. Well, there you go. All right, so we'll just move on to the next one. After that happened today, this also happened. Rapid Response 47 exclusive. Trump administration kills massive offshore wind project. And this comes out of the Daily Caller. The Trump administration kills massive offshore wind project. The Daily Caller News Foundation learned on Friday that the Department of the Interior is immediately halting all activity on a massive offshore wind project. The Bureau of Ocean Energy Management under the DOI is halting activity on the Revolution Wind project off the coast of Rhode Island and Connecticut in line with President Donald Trump's energy goals to boost reliable energy sources and lower costs for Americans, the agency told the DCNF. The Trump administration has dealt a series of recent blows to the wind industry, with the DOI ending preferential treatment for what it considers to be foreign-controlled and unreliable energy sources and moving to terminate the massive Lava Ridge wind project in southern Idaho that the Biden administration approved just weeks before Trump's return to office. Let's see. Americans deserve energy that is affordable, reliable, and built to last, not experimental and expensive wind projects that are proven failures, end quote. DOI Deputy Press Secretary Aubrey Spady told the DCNF, quote, in line with President Donald Trump's energy dominance agenda, Interior is putting an immediate stop to these costly failures to deliver a stronger energy future and lower costs for American families. Like President Trump said, the days of stupidity are over in the USA, end quote. Yep, then Biden probably having no clue what the hell he's looking at. Let's see. The Biden administration approved the construction plan for Revolution Wind in 2023, which is located on the federally owned Outer Continental Shelf, while former President Joe Biden pushed for wind and solar technology throughout his term by greenlighting billions of subsidies, loans, and grants. The Trump administration has shifted its focus to conventional and reliable energy sources and taken action to crack down on federal support for the green energy technology the Biden administration favored. All right, so Trump signed an executive order directing the DOI to revise any identified regulations, guidance, policies, and practices as appropriate and consistent with applicable law to eliminate any such preferences for wind and solar facilities on July 7th. So Trump campaigned against Biden for the push for green energy. Okay, so, it just kind of goes on from there. They just kind of get into some of the nitty-gritty, some of the political back and forth information, but that'll be linked below if you want to finish reading that for yourself. It's good news. Definitely good, especially with building up AI as much as they're planning on building up. Plus, with all the manufacturing that they're hoping that returns to the U.S. and a lot that we know that are returning to the U.S., we're going to have to really build up our electrical grid substantially. And the best way to do it, my opinion, is through nuclear and maybe hydroelectric. So anyway, this is from DoD Rapid Response. It's a picture of the War Room, or a picture of a plaque saying War Room this way. And that's in response to Wallace H. White, exclusive Defense Secretary Hegseth christened his conference room in the halls of the Pentagon the War Room, paying homage to 3 iconic American presidents. And let's see, Hegseth christens War Room at the Pentagon in honor of America. All right, let's just check this out real quick from the Daily Caller. I won't really get much into this, but I'll read just a little bit of it. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth christened his conference room in the halls of the Pentagon with the names of 3 iconic American presidents. The Pentagon exclusively told the Daily Caller News Foundation. And the presidents were George Washington, John Adams, and Theodore Roosevelt. And let's see. It's not just a name change, it's a statement. A senior defense official with knowledge of the decision told DCNF, this is about breaking through the mush-headed political correctness that's deadened our fighting spirit. Secretary Hegseth restores base names and resurrects the Moses Ezekiel Monument at Arlington. This christening of the War Room signals that lethality, not softness, is back in command. Hell yeah. All right, so his conference room in the halls of the Office of the Secretary of Defense, formerly named SDNR, will now be called the War Room. Which, sounds appropriate to me. Sounds good to me. Hopefully it's a room that won't be used very often. I thought this was hilarious. Look at this. Like, this isn't the win you think it is. It's Sective Strangelove. Yeah, whatever. But I just thought this was funny because it's in reference to Dr. Strangelove. You can't fight in here. This is the War Room. That was that Russian spy who was like taking pictures with his tiny little camera. And I think wasn't that the Secretary of Defense in the movie? I think it was. Pretty sure it was. Maybe it wasn't, but I think it might have actually been. I think it was possibly the Secretary of Defense, which makes that even more hilarious. But anyway, Yeah, just don't let the Russian ambassador see the big board. Yep. Good times. All right. So looks like they're just linking a bunch of other stuff down below. All right, so I'll move on to Secretary Kristi Noem. Activist liberal judges have attempted to obstruct our law enforcement every step of the way in removing the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens from our country. Today, we reached a new low with this publicity-hungry Maryland judge mandating this illegal alien who is an MS-13 gang member. He's a human trafficker, a serial domestic abuser, and child predator, which this judge allowed to go free. By ordering this monster loose on America's streets, this judge has shown a complete disregard for the safety of the American people. We will not stop fighting until this Salvadorian man faces justice and is out of our country. I can't believe they let him go. Look, I don't know the context. I don't know the background. Not sure what exactly is going on with that. I'm honestly kind of surprised she didn't really link anything. It would have been nice to have actually just read out what charges he was facing at least, or what he was possibly not found guilty of, or sounds like he just recently got arrested and was probably arraigned or something, and maybe that judge let him out with no bail. Wouldn't surprise me. Just these political leftist judges, as usual. There needs to be consequences for these judges, but unfortunately, it takes a simple House majority to bring articles of impeachment. Yep, it does. It certainly does. And I believe that federal judges are lifetime appointed, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, it's not good, man. Not good at all. Now, according to Trump, during his first administration, he apparently appointed more federal judges than any other president, like any other president's first term before him. Am I getting that right? I'm pretty sure that I heard him say that at some point. I mean, usually my memory's kind of okay with regard to that. Yeah, so anyway, Jefferson on rogue judges. Oh, this will be interesting. I'm assuming Thomas Jefferson. As for the safety of society, we commit honest maniacs to bedlam. So judges should be withdrawn from their bench whose erroneous biases are leading us to dissolution. It may indeed injure them in fame or in fortune, but it saves the republic, which is the first and supreme law, which was in his autobiography on page 123. That was a banger. Definitely got some truth to it. You know what? When Hurricane Milton rolled through here last October, well, we were without power for 4 days, but Barnes & Noble, they opened up, I think, on the second day after the hurricane moved through. So they were open, and they just happened to have electricity. That's why they opened, because they had power. So I went in there, and I bought the Articles of Confederation, which is actually kind of a nice book. It's not like a fancy $50 hardback book. It was binded and printed by whatever Barnes & Noble's company is. It says it on the inside of the jacket, but I got to get around to reading that. I haven't had a chance to read that, and I'm really looking forward to giving that some of my time. I haven't done it yet, but I mean, come on, it's the Articles of Confederation. That's what they used to help draft up the Constitution and all that. So yeah, I gotta get through that someday. Maybe when we get our next hurricane, God forbid it happens this year, but maybe next time we get a storm and we get our power knocked out, maybe I'll read it then. That'd be a good time to do so. All right, why am I on Cracker Barrel? What the fuck's going on here? Oh, did I think I accidentally clicked back. Yeah, I did. All right, no biggie. I'll just have to go back to where I was. Oops-a-daisy. No biggie, we're right here. No big deal, no sweat. We're all good. You're just having some deja vu is all. All right. This comes from the Federal Reserve. Uh-oh. On August 22nd, Chair Powell spoke on the Federal Reserve's monetary policy framework review. Here's the related materials. So they've got something on YouTube. Let's see. Let me see if I can just open it up in this window and see if it'll come up. I just don't. Yeah, see, it's 20 minutes long. I'm not going to play this. It's way too long. Plus, it's probably boring as shit. But I'll link it. If you want to watch it, I'll link it below if you want to check it out. And the same with the federalreserve.gov's monetary policy. I'll get that opened up. And then also the other one, Board of Governors. Let's see, the review of monetary policy strategy, tools, and communications. The 2025 review at least has the overview. And then this is the statement on longer run goals and monetary policy strategy. And this is with the Federal Reserve. So it's probably not going to be anything good. Probably not going to be anything all that revealing. I mean, I'm sure all it's going to say is like this, like the The committee reaffirms its judgment that inflation at the rate of 2%, as measured by the annual change in the price index for personal consumption expenditures, is most consistent over the long run with the Federal Reserve's statutory maximum employment and price stability mandates. No shit. Yeah, we know. But yeah, it's probably got a bunch of other just like boring ass freaking jargon. I think what people really want to know is like when's housing coming back down? Well, I guess if you own your house, you probably don't want that to happen because now your house is worth like double what it was 5 years ago. But to everybody else who doesn't own a home, that's one question they're asking. And they seem to think that by lowering the interest rates, the Fed lowering the interest rates will allow that to happen. I'm not so convinced of that. I think if they raise interest rates more, I think that might actually help bring down housing in the long run. Because if you drop interest rates down to like what 4%, 5% to where it's like very reasonable to go get a mortgage if you have good enough credit and a down payment, it's just like it's going to incentivize people to buy more houses, even though that they're in an elevated cost at the cost that they're at right now. And I think it's just going to just make the problem worse. I think it's ultimately just going to drive up houses even more because it's going to basically people who have been holding out, waiting for the interest rates to come down. I'm sure they're also hoping that housing in general comes down too, which if they lower the interest rate, I don't think housing's values are going to go down. I think at the very least, they're going to stay the same, if not go back up even further than where they're at now. And right now, the average house is about $400,000. And your everyday average run-of-the-mill American can't afford that. Average household income in America is like what, $77,000 a year. And in order to afford the average price house in America, you have to be making about $105,000. So it ain't sustainable, but it's been this way for what, 3-4 years now? Not good. All right. So there's a couple of things here in the comments, to say the least. Of course, they're slam dunking all over the Federal Reserve. Not so much that one, but this one, knowing the Federal Reserve, all fake money, IOUs. Unless you bunch of elected crooks are lowering interest rates so people can afford to buy a home, sell a home, buy a car, etc., I don't want to hear a word from you. This one I thought was interesting. Who stole the American dream? Ben Bernanke, I remember him. $1.54 trillion in mortgage-backed securities via quantitative easing. And Janet Yellen, $177 billion in mortgage-backed securities via quantitative easing. And Jerome Powell, $403 billion mortgage-backed securities via quantitative easing. How the Federal Reserve stole the American dream by artificially inflating home prices by manipulating interest rates. Yup, that happened. And yep, shit got bad back in 2008, obviously. And then, see, look, the Federal Reserve bought mortgage-backed securities to lower the mortgage rates, which was, when was that? Like in 2010, like late 2010. And then they did it again in 2013. Then they did it again back in 2020. And yeah, as mortgage rates fall, payments fall, and prices reinflate. Yeah, not so sure. Oh yeah, man, check this one out. Should I buy gold? That's the cost of a 1 ounce U.S. gold coin in 1933, $20 for a gold coin. Right now, 1 ounce gold coin, $3,334. Absolutely crazy. I read somewhere that if they started backing the dollar with gold again, based on the amount of gold that's available in the market or owned by the federal government, like 1 ounce of gold, the equivalency, a 1 ounce of gold would be worth over like way over $100,000, like $150-something thousand. That 1 ounce of gold would be worth if it were backing U.S. currency, because of the amount of the insane amount of just money that's out there, because they keep fucking printing it. I mean, look, how much debt are we in? Like $37 trillion in debt. Do you really think that every single penny of that debt was labored over? Do you really think that the American people like labored $37 trillion worth of money for them to spend all of that? I'm not so sure. I mean, I get it. There's interest and all that too. I'm sure that just the interest alone, it would not surprise me if they started tacking interest onto that debt and just basically just letting it just run on into infinite oblivion. Wouldn't surprise me. In just a couple of years, we're going to be paying $1 trillion in interest every year to the national deficit. That's coming. It's on its way. It'll be here in a couple of years. We're already at 940. I think it's $940 billion that we're paying in interest on the debt. That's your money. That's my money. That's the taxpayers' money. And if the debt doesn't move ever again, we're forever going to be paying $940 billion a year. Forever. for a million years if the debt doesn't move. But it's not moving. It's going even higher. So we're going to pay more than that next year. Anyway, this is from DoD Rapid Response to our warfighters and the American taxpayers. This is what we did this week. So let's take a look and see what happened in the Department of Defense this week. What were they up to? Let's take a look.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pentagon Press Secretary
Hello.
Julie Wilson, and welcome to the DoD's weekly situation report.
Well,
This
thank you
week,
for having
the
me.
Secretary of Defense attended a meeting with European leaders at the White House and witnessed President Trump forge the peace process between Ukraine and Russia. Our Commander-in-Chief is a tough and relentless peacemaker. The world owes him a debt of gratitude. This week, U.S. Central Command forces conducted a successful raid in northern Syria, killing a senior ISIS member and key financier who planned attacks in Syria and Iraq. He had relationships throughout the ISIS network in the region, posing a direct threat to the U.S. and coalition
I just read that
forces
yesterday
and the
on
new
here.
Syrian government. We will continue to pursue ISIS terrorists with unwavering determination throughout the region to ensure our lasting defeat of ISIS and the protection of the U.S. homeland. Secretary Hegseth also welcomed HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. to the DoD, where they introduced
the
the
challenge.
Pete and Bobby Challenge to help
Yeah, the
make
challenge.
America healthy again. Their challenge, 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups in under 10 minutes. At the highest level, we are furthering our initiative with the DoD that we will be fit, not fat. Secretary Hegseth visited the National Guardsmen at Union Station in Washington, D.C. with Vice President J.D. Vance and Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. Under President Trump and Secretary Hegseth's leadership, the DoD is dedicated to addressing the lawlessness and crime in our nation's capital. We will restore the beauty, honor, and greatness of Washington, D.C.
Amen. God
The
willing.
Secretary also visited the D.C. Armory yesterday to meet some of the National Guardsmen deployed here in the Capitol. We are so grateful for their bravery and service alongside D.C. law enforcement. That's all we have for you this week.
all we
Thanks
got.
for watching. God
You're welcome. God bless the United States of America. All right, let's head on down to the next one here. Secretary. Oh no. Oh crap, I'm all over the place now. Oh shit. All right, I don't think we're that far away. Well, yep, there we go. All right, we're back. Secretary Lori Chavez de Raymer. Congratulations, Sergio Gore. Oh, okay, so same thing. And also Caroline Levitt, she also tweeted that out as well about the ambassador to India. So I'll just skip on past that. This is from Chucky Chuck Schumer. Got to put this Cracker Barrel logo controversy to the test. Which do you prefer, release the Epstein files or release the Epstein files? This dude is so low IQ. Look, I don't oppose releasing the Epstein files at all. I think they should have released them a long time ago. So which do you prefer, Crack Barrel? Yeah, we already got that one. That's hilarious. We got 100 likes for that. Did they outlike Chuck Schumer's? Nah, he's got a couple thousand. Snacker Barrel. Schumer got thousands in donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Well. Published July 10th of 2019. Look, I'm not going to take that as the gospel truth. I honestly don't even know where the hell this is from. Nikki Schwab. I'm sure you could probably look it up. Published July 10th of 19 by Nikki Schwab. I'm sure it'll come right up, but could you be any more retarded? The party of hate, evil, and Satan. Yeah, they're not a very good party these days, to say the least. And then Trump Superman. Not sure if that was made by Grok or not. Don't know. Sassy Patriot Girl. Yep, bring back all the iconic logos. Bring them all back. And Cracker Barrel one day shall return. I'm going to keep the faith that it will be back. Chief Law Enforcement Officer. All right. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go that far down. All right, let's go back. Anyway, U.S. Commerce Department. Under President Trump and Secretary Lutnick's leadership, the U.S. is acquiring a 10% stake in Intel. This deal delivers for the American people, strengthens U.S. chip making, and makes clear that America is leading the way in tech industry. Look, I don't really agree with this. I don't think this is really a good idea that the U.S. government should be buying up stake in companies. That just doesn't sound good to me. It sounds like that's opening up the door for Democrats to do all kinds of fucked up shit. Just my opinion. It is my great honor. Look, they might have been doing this for years and years for all I know. Maybe this is just something that the U.S. government does from time to time. I know that the U.S. government has, I don't know if it's no, it's not in the millions. They've got hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, but they didn't buy the Bitcoin. They seized it through the FBI and other agencies, the DEA, and, things of that nature. but they're just holding on to it, and for obviously a pretty good reason. It is my great honor to report that the United States of America now fully owns and controls 10% of Intel, a great American company that has an even more incredible future. I negotiated this deal with Lip Bhutan, a highly respected chief executive officer of the company. The United States paid nothing for these shares, and the shares are now valued at approximately $11 billion. This is a great deal for America and also a great deal for Intel. Building leading-edge semiconductors and chips, which is what Intel does, is fundamental to the future of our nation. Make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm not so sure, what. I'm sure it's in an effort to try to keep Intel relevant, because Intel, they've kind of been sliding in recent years, especially with the rise of with NVIDIA. Like, NVIDIA skyrocketed, man. NVIDIA's worth more than all of the cryptocurrency on the planet. It's like a $4 trillion company right now. Absolutely insane, dude. All right, anyway. Yeah, how did the USA acquired Intel shares? Why is this good for America? How this isn't socialism? See, I don't know, man. I got questions about it, too. I'm not so sure if this is really good that the federal government should be gobbling up portions of companies. Even if it's for good intentions, which I'm sure it's for wonderful intentions. I'm sure it's just to, for one, keep Intel in America, which I'm sure they're not manufacturing in America. I hope I'm wrong, but I somehow doubt that they are. But if that's part of the endeavor, fine. But yeah, like I said, look, if the government owns any of it, I just don't know, man. Like, change my mind. I guess change my mind, because I kind of feel a certain way about that. So anyway, from the Department of Defense news, DoD civilians can volunteer for details to the southern border. So if you're a DoD civilian, you can apply for details of up to 6 months with the Department of Homeland Security to help support President Donald J. Trump's priority of securing the southern border. And let's see, they were notified of the opportunity on August the 20th. And I think they're looking for 500. Yeah, already nearly 500 DoD civilians have signed up to participate and bring their skill sets to the border security and immigration enforcement mission at the participating DHS agencies. And the Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary for Civilian Personnel Policy said he hopes even more will volunteer to participate in the program. All right, so yeah, if you're a DoD civilian, if you're so interested in doing so, they're looking for you. And this comes from Fox News. Here's the banger. Here's the big one. I know it's been a long time coming, and I kind of sort of did that on purpose, but not exactly. Look, I save bookmarks as I see them, and obviously this news story broke this morning, so it's going to be a little bit down on the list. As, bookmarks, I wish I could sort them a little better than I do. Maybe I'll get better at it. I found a little tips and tricks, personal tips and tricks on how to kind of organize it a little better, but for the moment, it's not at the very top of the video, but that's okay. We're here now. From Fox News, breaking: federal agents raided the Maryland home of Trump's former national security advisor, Ambassador John Bolton, this morning. So let's take a look at this. What the hell is going on here?
We're back with the Fox News Alert. We're just learning the FBI agents have raided the Maryland home of former Trump national security advisor John Bolton. It happened at 7 a.m. this morning.
Shortly after the raid began,
Wish I had that
Director
sound
Kash
effect on my
Patel
soundboard.
posting on X, quote, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on a mission."
David Spunt joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, David.
Hey, guys, not much we can say at this point, but information will continue to develop. As you mentioned, about 7 o'clock this morning, FBI agents raided Ambassador Bolton's home. Notable, we're being told by two government sources that they are looking for classified documents as part of a potential leak investigation. We're told that Ambassador Bolton is not in custody. He's not under arrest. But it is notable they are at his Maryland home right now. We don't know how many agents are there. We're waiting to get a picture of the scene coming in right now. But we're told Ambassador Bolton
was just
on TV
I got that.
on another network a couple days ago talking about the Russia-Putin-Trump summit is now under FBI investigation. Now, I want to be clear. These are long, and we're looking at some live live photographs right now in Bethesda.
We'll do it
That's
live.
clearly the road where Ambassador Bolton lives. And you can
Must be
see
fucking
some
nice.
police cars outside
Bethesda,
there.
Maryland.
But, you know, this is going to be a long process.
Oh,
We
it's so
saw
picturesque.
the raid of former Trump advisor Roger Stone's home down in Florida several years ago. Eventually, he went to trial. We saw famously in August
I got his
of
comment on that matter.
Exactly
Roger Stone.
3 years ago, a little bit more than
We'll
3
see what
years
he had
ago,
to
the
say about
raid
this.
on Mar-a-Lago. That still has the FBI in hot water. That's a little bit of a different situation as it was a former president, but it deals with classified documents, guys.
All right, let's move on. I got a few of these coming up. So Patel's FBI raids John Bolton's home in high-profile national security probe. So this was clearly earlier when they posted this. So it's going to be preliminary, 7:14 a.m. And there's been a few updates since. So FBI agents raided the Maryland home in Washington, D.C. office of President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, Friday morning in a high-profile probe of allegations that he sent highly sensitive classified documents to his family from a private email server while working in the White House. This sounds like something they should have done to Hillary Clinton, too. Federal investigators went to Bolton's house in Bethesda, Maryland at 7 a.m. in an investigation ordered by FBI Director Kash Patel, a Trump administration official told the Post. Agents later went to Bolton's office in downtown D.C., but did not enter until a judge signed a warrant for that location late Friday morning. Whoa. No one is above the law. Dude, they must have just uncovered something explosive. I don't know if they were still combing through those burn bags, or maybe they just came across something on one of those hard drives that they found within those burn bags. But, dude, they were working quickly. Apparently, they were standing there waiting for that judge to sign that warrant. Ink is still wet, and they're in there. All right, so no one is above the law. FBI agents on mission, Patel said in a cryptic post to X shortly after the raid began. So I'm assuming that's his wife. I'm assuming. Just sitting there, looking just absolutely dumbfounded. How could this be? We're the establishment. We're supposed to be the deep state, not you. John Bolton's rules for thee, not for me. Rules John Bolton's wife, Gretchen Smith Bolton, outside of their Bethesda, Maryland home today. And then this is the FBI agents walking inside the back entrance of Bolton's office on Friday in Washington, bringing in the cavalry, getting all that gear ready. Bolton has not been arrested and is not currently charged with any crimes, the administration official added. And I'll link that in the description if you want to take another look at that. This is from Laura Loomer. John Bolton's Maryland home was raided by the FBI this morning. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. And I'm assuming that's the same. It's probably, well, wait, when did she post this? Yeah, 14 hours, 8:18 a.m. Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure it's going to be the same article. Yeah, it's going to be the same thing, so I figured. All right, so let's move on to Roger Stone himself. Look at this. Good morning, John Bolton. How does it feel to have your home raided at 6 o'clock in the morning? Absolutely. I've been waiting to give that a like. So, David J. Harris Jr. breaking. The FBI has conducted a 5 a.m. raid on the D.C. area home of John Bolton. The raid was directly ordered by Kash Patel and is related to classified documents, according to the New York Post. Kash Patel just posted, "No one is above the law." Wow. Hell yeah. Let's take a look at this.
The probe dropped when Joe Biden became president. So is this picking up where that left off, David?
It's possible. I don't know with 100% certainty, but it is notable, guys, that John Bolton, Ambassador Bolton's security clearances were stripped earlier this year by President Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, took that security clearance away. They had concerns. The administration had concerns about Ambassador Bolton still being able to access some of these documents and have some of those security clearances. It's also notable that John Bolton had a security detail as well. Because of the threats from Iran on his life. That security detail, that government federal paid security detail, was also taken away by President Trump.
All right. So that's it for that one. But we got more. I got more. This was 14 hours ago from Benny Johnson. Breaking. The FBI has officially raided John Bolton's home in the D.C. area as part of a major national security investigation. That's going to be the same clip. Yeah, it's the same clip. So I'm going to skip past that clip. From Clandestine, the public raids have begun. John Bolton's home raided after Trump took away his clearance in detail earlier this year. Okay, so I thought that was just a few days ago when Tulsi Gabbard did that. What a great person to start with. He is a He is Republican, so the mainstream media cannot spin this as politically motivated, but the public are getting used to the sight of Trump raiding high-profile politicians and bureaucrats. We start with the more digestible ones, then work our way up to the more controversial ones. Nobody likes Bolton, so this will not be too hard for the public to accept. This raid comes after Trump was mysteriously tweeting at 2 a.m. about how D.C. is safer after he told us that he was supposedly going on a patrol with law enforcement and U.S. military to, quote, do a job, end quote. This also comes after Trump has fully secured D.C. with the National Guard. It's starting to get real. It's the same video clip. So we'll move on to the next one here. So John Bolton, this is from Dinesh D'Souza. John Bolton was really enthusiastic about the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. No one is above the law, he said. I wonder if he feels the same way about today's FBI raid on his house. Let's take a look at this.
Any given moment. But I don't think he cared about
it's a little loud.
The classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information, and he didn't appreciate the sensitivity of how it was often acquired, the so-called sources and methods. So this had been briefed to him before I arrived. It was repeated frequently. I think it simply had no impact on him whatever.
There's a couple of different ways that people think about this, and people who are not friendly to the president who think about what's happened here. And one of them is, Donald Trump, master thief, criminal, running some kind of elaborate conspiracy to bring things out of the White House and keep them secret for potentially for political or financial gain. There are other people who his attitude is Trump is chaotic. He's careless. He's not that smart. He took these things almost by mistake, and now he's basically stamping his feet and saying they're mine. I don't want to give them up. Give me a sense of where you think
these people are fucking evil, aren't they?
With respect to Trump's intelligence, carelessness, and the degree to which he might have brought motive to bear on taking these documents out of the White House and keeping them for this long at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, it's very hard to speculate on motive other than that he liked cool things. He saw things so he wanted to take them, and he was pretty much able to take them.
Yeah, and Hillary Clinton didn't do that when they left the White House?
Not just on classified information matters, on all kinds of things that crossed his desk. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
Because he's the president of the United States, and the president of the United States can take classified information. He can declassify anything he wants. The fuck are they talking about? All right, this one's from Nick Sordor. It's happening. The FBI is currently raiding the D.C. area home of John Bolton. This deep state hack is finally being taken down. The raid, which was directly ordered by Kash Patel, seems to be related to classified documents. Perp walk 'em. Absolutely. Eric Daugherty. Breaking, federal agents are right now in John Bolton's home going through things following an early morning FBI raid in the D.C. area over national security concerns. Yes, we did indeed vote for this. This is Bolton's primary residence. This deals with classified records. Same clip. Catherine Herridge developing. I understand that FBI Director Kash has reopened a high-profile national security case involving former National Security Advisor John Bolton that was shut down by the Biden administration. I'm told FBI raids are being conducted and it involves government records. FBI declined to comment, of course, because it's an ongoing investigation. A source familiar with the matter says it is a national security investigation involving classified documents and potential leaks. Earlier on X, Patel posted no one is above the law, FBI agents on mission. Patel has made a public commitment to destroy weaponized government, reaching out to Bolton and team for comment. Yeah, I doubt you're going to get one. And this is from Benny Johnson. Breaking, FBI agents have now swarmed John Bolton's Washington, D.C. office following the earlier raid on his home. This is a new one.
And Ambassador.
Ooh, that's way quiet.
So this is a live shot of his office in Washington, D.C., and we're looking right now
Mitsubishi.
For our
that's what
colleagues from Fox Digital on the scene. A couple of FBI agents loading some stuff into cars and leaving the scene. So clearly not as big of a presence at his Bethesda home, but notable that he was spotted at his office earlier today. We're told, I want to be very clear that he's not facing any charges at this moment. He is not in custody. He is not under arrest at this moment. So we've reached out to his attorney. We're reaching out to Ambassador Bolton himself.
Yeah, that Mitsubishi is a lot newer than mine. Mine was made in June of 1998, so I got an old Mitsubishi. It runs solid, still running great to this day. All right, so this is from Benny Johnson. FBI official just told me the John Bolton raid is about Bolton's serial theft and publication of classified information that has gone on for years. FBI official, quote, It is widely known that Bolton mishandled and took classified information for use in his 2020 book after he failed to get approval from the National Security Council for the publication of what they determined to be highly classified information. This raid of Bolton's residence comes after years of investigation into his potentially criminal disclosure, which started in 2020 before being put on pause for political reasons. The Trump administration is committed to restoring integrity to the Justice Department and ending the weaponization government. Our investigation will follow the evidence and ensure accountability. Holy shit. And this next one, also from Benny Johnson New. Jonathan Turley says John Bolton could be hit with up to 20 years in prison over national defense information. Quote, it could be national defense information that creates a heightened potential penalty of between 5 to 20 years.
It's intriguing here because these are long-standing allegations that the book indicated or referenced classified material that he may have acquired when he was in the administration. We're not clear as to what that is, but it would suggest that it could be national defense information. The reason that's important is that creates a heightened potential penalty.
For a fucking book.
So you can have penalties that range from 5 to 20 years. 20 years tends to be the census for concealing information, obstructing justice. Simply having classified information can weigh in at about 10 years. And there are often multiple counts because each of those documents can be charged separately. So there is a strange history here. So you had these allegations coming out as early as the first Trump administration. Then there was an allegation that the Biden administration essentially scuttled a further look at this case. Right. And now we have this new development. But we really don't know if there's something that has occurred most recently, whether they uncovered something that they believed is sort of evergreen, that this is still a viable criminal case.
Wow. Wow. You know, it'd be nice to get perspectives from different news outlets, and everybody just keeps sharing freaking Fox News. I don't know. All right, so from Nick Sordor, breaking, President Trump slams John Bolton after the FBI raided his house this morning. Quote, Bolton was one of the people that forced Bush to do all the... Let me try that again. Bolton was one of the people that forced Bush to do the ridiculous bombings in the Middle East. He wants to always kill people, and he's very bad at what he does. He's not a smart guy, and he could be a very unpatriotic guy. We're going to find out. Oh, my God. Let's take a look.
When I hired him, he served a good purpose because, as you know, he was one of the people that forced Bush to do the ridiculous bombings in the Middle East. Bolton, he wants to always kill people. And he's very bad at what he does, but he worked out great for me because every time he doesn't talk, he's like a very quiet person, except on television. If he could say something bad about Trump, he'll always do that. But he really doesn't talk. He's quiet. And I'd walk into a room with him with a foreign country, and the foreign country would give me everything because they said, oh no, they're going to get blown up because John Bolton is there. He's not a smart guy, but he could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me, probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister...
I tell Pam and I tell the group, I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. Good. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
But
he can read whatever the hell he wants.
Better this way.
Wow, man, even Trump's commenting on it. That was at 10:17 this morning in D.C. And again from Benny Johnson, President Trump on the raid that took place at John Bolton's house this morning. And he quotes him. I'm assuming he's going to quote in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it. And we'll see. Well, if it'll decide to start. I don't know if it's going to start. Oh, come on, X. What the hell are you doing? I'm reluctant to refresh. I don't like refreshing because sometimes it doesn't go back to where it was. And of course it didn't. Damn it. Fuck, X. Come on, man. Really messing with my mojo here. Good grief. Gotta go all the way back down. All the way back down. Farther and farther and farther. A lot of info. All right, here we are. Let's try take number 2 and see if this works. Hopefully. What the hell? Did they take it down? What are you doing, Benny Johnson? Did you take it down? All right, fine. I'll just read the quote. Quote, my house was raided also, Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could, including my young son's room and my wife's area. Quote, they went through her drawers, as the expression goes. They went through everything you can imagine. And when she came back, she said, she's very neat, you know, she's meticulous. And she looked and she said, whoa, this wasn't the way that she had it. So, you know, so I know the feeling, not a good feeling. All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't randomly start playing at some point. So from Lara Logan, John Bolton was a co-conspirator in the seditious conspiracy to bring down President Trump. He thought he was bigger than the president, above the law, and better than we the people. He is now finding out the truth. And then from Nick's order, the FBI is still conducting their raid at John Bolton's D.C. area home and office. Over 5 hours after the operation began, these agents are tearing through absolutely everything.
And they're obviously still there, as you can see. They're zooming in from the camera view that we have right outside of the home. This was an investigation that was ordered by FBI Director Kash Patel, a Trump administration official, telling the Post, but asking to remain anonymous. Now, what's interesting is right before this took place, FBI Director Kash Patel posted this cryptic message on social media as he said, quote, no one is above the law. FBI agents on a mission.
Yeah, and I'm sure John Bolton probably said the exact same thing once upon a time, didn't he? From Nick's order, breaking after an almost 8-hour FBI raid, John Bolton was just seen returning home, and Bolton does not look happy. This deep state hack deserves every second of this and everything that's about to come for him. FBI is just getting started. Absolutely. Don't you ask P. Diddy?
Back to that in just a second, but here's live pictures.
Seems kind of reminiscent of something like that.
Returning home, we had a picture of this SUV leaving his office a short time ago, and now it looks like it's made its way with about 30-minute trip to his home. And there's the ambassador coming up, briefcase in hand, waving to the assembled media.
Fucking smiling.
And going inside the front door of the home. We will see.
Talk about a forced smile.
It doesn't look like it at this point. If he decides to come out and talk. I mean, John Bolton does talk to the media an awful lot. But he has chosen to remain
ridiculous.
silent.
He's got fucking security detail.
Nicole Parker is with us. And Nicole, it looks as though this investigation, at least the search of Bolton's home and his office, has wrapped up. What do you expect might be in the boxes that came out at the hands of FBI agents?
Classified information, maybe? Like, look, I wonder how many security agents or security personnel in total are in D.C. You think it's probably like 100,000 or some shit? All right, so this one, breaking, John Bolton angrily stomps his way back home after the 8-hour raid. I didn't see him angrily stomping. Did you see him angrily stomping?
All right, we're going to get back
I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just curious.
Pictures of what we believe is John Bolton
angrily
returning home. We had a picture
angry,
of this SUV
angry stomping.
Leaving his office.
And then he did his little smile on his way back inside.
Now it looks like it's made its way with about 30-minute trip to his home. And there's the ambassador.
No, come on. He's not really stomping. All right, so this is from FBI Director Kash Patel. No one is above the law. FBI agents on mission, as they were sharing earlier. So what is this about? Readers added context they thought people might want to know. I didn't see this when I first prepared this. Israeli government official Tom Artyom Alexandrovich was arrested and charged in joint FBI local police raid for luring or attempting to lure a child online to engage in sexual conduct. He was granted bail and allowed to flee to Israel, avoiding charges. What does that have to do with anything? Are they trying to suggest that this is what FBI Director Kash Patel was referencing when he said this? I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe that was what it was about. You know what? You would think that he would have clarified if that were actually the case. I mean, did he actually clarify that or not? Hold on, 16 hours. Yeah, he didn't clarify that. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. He might have replied to somebody, maybe saying like, no, it wasn't John Bolton, it was somebody else. No. What the hell are they talking about? Oh, who the hell knows? I don't know. All right, so let's head back. I think I might have a little bit left. Oh, no, that's it. So, yeah, that was the last one for the John Bolton situation. That's all I got for today. Might have more tomorrow. The FBI, they're not going to release any information because it's an ongoing investigation, so we're probably not going to hear much beyond speculation. We'll probably hear a lot of people trying to dig through John Bolton's history. We'll probably see some banger clips coming out tomorrow That's going to be absolutely hilarious. Just reminding ourselves what John Bolton has been saying over the years. So I'm looking forward to seeing stuff like that come in probably tomorrow, I would assume. So I don't know, just have to wait and see. So we'll move on to the next topic from the White House. For winners only, FIFA president presents President Trump FIFA World Cup trophy. There it is.
That's why we brought as well this, which is the winner's trophy. It is the trophy that the winner of the FIFA World Cup wins. Only the FIFA president, presidents of countries, and then those who win can touch it, because it's for winners only. And since you're a winner, of course, you can as well touch it. It's pretty heavy. Yeah. It's the winner trophy. The last one who lifted that is Lionel Messi of Argentina. And here it is in the Oval Office in the White House.
Can I keep it?
What do you?
Can I keep it?
We're not keeping it. That's serious.
It fits well.
It goes very well on the wall right over there. We'll put it right below the angels.
Put it right below the angel.
Beautiful. Yeah.
You can keep it until we have to give it to the next winner.
That's fine. That's a beautiful piece of gold. I will say. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool. Yep, bringing the FIFA World Cup. I don't watch soccer. I don't watch any sports, if I'm being honest. I don't play video games. Not into sports. I'm into tinkering with my car. I go metal detecting. I got my hobbies. I got other things I got going on. And then I got this thing that I'm doing now that I just started up over this summer. Doing a daily episode. All right, so this is from Defense News. The Russian surveillance and reconnaissance plane stayed in international airspace, but flew close enough to prompt NORAD to launch F-16s to intercept. And this happened on Wednesday, I believe it was on Wednesday. So U.S. F-16 fighter jets intercepted Russia's spy planes flying near Alaska 2 days in a row this week. And in a separate incident on Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, okay, so it was yesterday and Wednesday. I thought it was Tuesday and Wednesday, but it was even more recent than that. Russian Il-20 surveillance and reconnaissance planes flew into the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ, prompting NORAD's response. On Wednesday, NORAD launched a pair of F-16 Fighting Falcons and KC-135 Stratotanker for refueling as they identified and monitored the Russian plane. The following day, NORAD again sent up 2 F-16s and a KC-135 along with an E-3 Sentry airborne warning and control system aircraft to intercept and monitor the Russian Il-20. On both days, the Russian aircraft stayed in international airspace and did not enter into the U.S. or Canadian sovereign airspace. The Alaskan ADIZ, like other such zones, is a defined area of international airspace which begins at the edge of sovereign airspace around the state that requires any aircraft entering into it to be identified for national security reasons. And NORAD said Russia activity regularly occurs in the Alaskan ADIZ and is not considered a threat. Russian aircraft last entered the Alaskan ADIZ on July 22nd, according to NORAD statements. There were also back-to-back Russian flights in the ADIZ in February, as well as another Russian flight in April. And NORAD uses a layered network of satellites, fighter aircraft, and ground-based and airborne radars to detect and track aircraft that come near the U.S. And these systems then inform military leaders so they can take appropriate actions. So there you go. So that happened. So it's not very uncommon. I'm actually kind of glad I read that because, it's not anything to be alarmed about. It's just something that was mentioned on the Defense News. So, and this comes out of Homeland Security. A nation without borders is no nation at all. Thanks to President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, border wall construction will be completed, and the men and women of Border Patrol will have the resources needed to secure our homeland for generations to come.
And now the Border Patrol is moving to finish the border wall stretching from Texas to California. Senior national correspondent William
again with the Fox News
exclusive look at operations along one of the busiest sectors on the Mexican border. William, what'd you see out there?
I don't know. Where's One American News? Like, where's Newsmax?
Hey, good morning, Bill. Yeah, we just
where's the variety? I don't like playing the same thing over and over.
In his first term, President Trump built about 450 miles of border. Well, now
I thought it was 600.
With twice the budget, he aims to finish the job, a physical barrier across the entire border.
Big beautiful wall from sea to shining sea.
A high-speed chase.
Get your hands up.
Texas. And while the border
You're under
looks
arrest.
nothing like 2 years ago, Border Patrol isn't letting up.
My biggest number is 0. That is how many people the United States Border Patrol has released onto the streets.
Congress recently gave Chief Michael Banks $46 billion for 1,300 miles of new wall and 900 miles of buoys.
Dude, make the illegal criminals put all this shit up, man. We don't want to be paying construction workers. Make the freaking illegal immigrants do it.
We don't get this done in time.
Is that too harsh? Maybe that's too harsh. I don't know. What do I know?
The wall operates
I mean, they could paint it.
System.
Trump's trying to, he's painting it black.
The lights, the cameras, it all comes together at an op center.
You're looking at
hey, look at that.
Technology,
fancy
manpower, infrastructure, right? You need all of them to have a complete picture and a complete
That'd be cool to work in there, man.
Sensors and radars detect movement. Cameras confirm it. Dispatchers send agents to intercept.
We're heading your way now. ETA about 4 or 5 miles.
Nice, man. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to work in one of those command centers. All high tech. All real nice. But yeah, man, make the illegal immigrants paint the border wall. I don't know why they're not at least exploring that idea. Maybe they did, and maybe it's just not politically viable to do so because, you know, that, I mean, doing that would probably get the Democrats stop talking about the Jeffrey Epstein crap. On and on and on. That's all they're talking about. That, and also the big ugly bill is getting rid of all of our entitlement programs. But anyway, this is from the White House. I think this is, I'll play a couple of minutes of it perhaps, but I think it's like 20-something minutes long, so it's a long one. But anyway, actually, I'll repost it right now if you want to check out my profile, and you can see it right there. But it's on the White House. You can just go straight to the White House. President Trump makes an announcement August 22nd, 2025, and this came out at 1:04 p.m. So let's see if we can get some information out of this.
Thank you very
oh,
much.
okay, it's the FIFA World Cup thing.
Big announcement to make today.
Well, let's hear what he has to say first.
Johnny came all the way from Italy, the beautiful country of Italy, to be with us. And
Mamma mia.
He just got off the plane, and he's a hardworking guy. Does
Trump
a
is
phenomenal
right
job
about
with
everything.
FIFA. Nobody like him. I'm delighted to welcome FIFA President Gianni Infantino back to the White House for a major announcement about one of the most anticipated competitions in all of sports, the 2026, and this is a big deal. I'll tell you, I was so happy to get it.
It's the first time we've ever hosted it, isn't it?
Cup.
I think it is.
And it's going to be the World Cup as we know it.
And we're getting the Olympics.
Probably the biggest event in sports, I guess, Johnny, right?
Not crazy about it being in
On
LA.
December 5th
They already had it
year, the
in
2026
1984.
FIFA World Cup draw will take place at the Kennedy Center. Some people refer to it as the Trump
Maybe
Kennedy
Trump did it
Center,
to save some money. Maybe.
But we're not prepared to do that
Maybe
quite
they still
yet.
have some of the
Maybe in a
Olympic
week or so.
infrastructure in place. I don't know.
Right here in Washington, D.C., it's a tremendous honor to bring the global event and this incredible group of people and these unbelievable athletes, the best athletes in the world, to the cultural center of our nation's capital. I just left the Kennedy Center. We're spending a lot of money wisely on making it really beautiful. It's going to be beautiful again.
Yeah, you announced that about a week ago.
Washington, D.C., we had, by the way, in Washington, D.C., we have the lowest crime numbers they've had in years. 0, it sounds like it's a horrible thing to say, but I might as well say it. 0 murders in the last week since we've done this. That's the first time in memory that's happened, if you can believe it. How pathetic that is to have to even say it.
That's crazy.
And I'm tired of
I bet they
listening
can't
to
hide
these
that.
people say how safe it was before we got here. It
Kind
was
of hard
unsafe.
to hide murder
It was
stats.
horrible. And Mayor Bowser better get her act straight or she won't be mayor very long because we'll take it over with the federal government, run it like it's supposed to be run. The numbers were horrible.
Come the
It was
midterms.
a crime-infested rat hole. And they do have a lot of rats. We're getting rid of them too. And we've made a lot of progress. And it was extremely unsafe, and now it's extremely safe.
Yeah, damn right we got a lot of rats in the fucking
no
DC
crime.
swamp.
The number was down 87%, and I'm trying to figure out where was the 13% because
there's some of them over on K Street.
The National Guard has been unbelievable, and they're working with the police. And they have some very good people in there. They have some people that shouldn't be police, actually, but they have some great people there. And the Washington, D.C. is a whole different place. And, Johnny, I'm sure you'll be happy.
Yeah, dude, Washington, D.C., with all the major cities we have in this country, Washington, D.C. has twice the number of officers in proportion to the citizens that live in that metropolitan area, or at least in D.C. itself. There's about one police officer for every 215. It's roughly around 215. Maybe it was like 235, somewhere in like the low 200s. And the national average is over 400, like 400 and something per officer. So DC's got enough cops. They've got more than enough cops. They've got like double the cops that most other cities have.
But I hear that too, actually.
Oh, yes.
But it's a whole different place. People are excited again. They're going out to restaurants again. That was the other thing I saw numbers.
Good.
That restaurant business is down in the last week.
I saw that too.
Restaurant business, you can't get into
They're
a
idiots.
restaurant. Just really lying people.
Yep,
And that's
all
why
the time.
people don't understand how bad and how dishonest the press is. I saw
They're
one
worse.
poll that had us at 19% favorable on what we're doing with Washington. Then I saw another
no.
one that has us 94% favorable.
Yeah, that sounds
And
about
I
right.
can tell you the 94% is correct. The others are fake, just fake news. They
I just noticed this. That picture right behind Trump's right shoulder. That's little X. That's Elon Musk's son. I'm almost positive that's that picture. I remember
Gotta
seeing
get
that on.
their act together.
I don't
So
know.
bad for our country.
Some months
so
back.
sick, actually. So Washington, D.C. is really doing unbelievably well. And the Kennedy Center that we're fixing, I was just there all morning with contractors. We're making it unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. It's got great bones, but it needs
I think he's
a lot
the
of work.
chairman of that.
The World
that,
Cup draw will
building,
set up the
if I'm-
group
if I'm not
stage
mistaken.
of competition. 48 teams will play in 104 games across 16 North American cities, from Seattle to Vancouver to Atlanta to Miami. It's going to be so exciting for our country. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be one of the largest and most complex events. This will be one of the greatest events, one of the largest. In a way, it's like Johnny said it better. It's like having many Super Bowls in a short period of time.
Yeah, it basically
Because
is.
each one of these games essentially is a Super Bowl. Some of them are bigger than Super Bowls, actually. But they're essentially, each one of these games is like a Super Bowl. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the largest, most complex set of events.
And bring a
in
lot of
sports
money into the
history.
country.
And the Kennedy Center will give it a phenomenal kickoff, and we'll be involved, and they'll be working over there for quite a bit of time. We have it all set that they can stay there for the big events, the big press conferences and everything else. And they'll be in a very safe capital. That will be nice. You don't have to worry about walking down the street, Johnny, okay? But you could handle yourself.
I could.
Okay. Already, FIFA is projecting 6 million loyal fans will attend the World Cup events next year, and 6 billion more are going to be watching back home, and they think the $6 billion number is going to be actually a low number. And this will drive more than $30 billion into the U.S. economy and create 185,000 American jobs in a short period of time, too. No sporting event attracts more attention, more fans, more viewers, or more revenue than the FIFA World Cup. And again, I'll just say it's the World Cup, and it's the biggest thing there is in sports, and we have it. And I got it in my first administration, and I was really somewhat devastated, as devastated as I can be. I don't have time to get too devastated. I was very happy that today, as you saw, the group that does this, a government group, radical left group, announced that Trump was right. Took in $4 trillion worth of tariffs. That the $4 trillion are going to reduce the deficit by numbers far greater than they ever expected or heard of.
Freaking good,
and
man.
by the way,
I
the
hope
stock
so.
market went up 1,000 points. That was as of 10 minutes ago. I can't tell you what happened. A lot of things happened. But the stock market.
Dude, if Trump actually brings down the
1,000
national
points.
deficit, that's going to be phenomenal.
And it's basically on the news that the release that just came out from government that the tariffs that everybody was talking about, that the whole world respects us for because of what we did. The tariffs are going to be at $4 trillion. They're going to reduce the deficit by $4 trillion, Mr. Vice President. What do you think?
Sir.
Too bad it's not 5, right?
That's right.
It's had a huge impact, and the stock market is way up. But this
That's
will
good, 'cause
drive
we're
more
almost
than
paying
$30
$1 trillion
billion
in interest
in
every
U.S.
year.
economy and create 185,000 American jobs. No sporting event attracts more attention or more fans or anything else. And I just look forward to the draw. So we're going to have the draw, essentially, Johnny, at the Kennedy Center. And by that time, it'll be in even better shape. We're working on it. It's about a year project to make it. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. You see the way this is looking? Look, nice. I can't tell you how much that gold costs. A lot of money. There's
Yeah,
nothing
I'm
like
sure it
gold,
did.
and there's nothing like solid gold. But
That's all solid
this
gold.
Beautiful office needed it. It had to be represented.
Well, it's this
When we
Trump
took it
after
over,
all.
It was dirty, not clean. I immediately
You see
changed
some of that
the
solid
chair
gold
and
back
had
there?
This beautiful desk renovated.
I've seen pictures of the Oval
brought
Office.
out
Yeah,
by
that's
the White House.
down there too. It's
People that
accented
do this,
all
they
over
did
the
a
room.
Great job. We sent it out. We have a craftsman who's great. But this was not appropriate for the Oval Office when I took over. And now you look at all those paintings you're allowed to turn back. All of these are great presidents, and they were all in the vaults.
They were in vaults for.
Well, he's got the Constitution right there, doesn't he, or the Declaration of Independence? He's got one of them right here behind the curtain.
The Oval Office walls, and I can't imagine anybody changing it. But they were buried in vaults for over 100 years, many of them. So it's very exciting.
Wow,
People
that's
come
crazy.
In, they really love it. They love what we're doing here. They love what we're doing in D.C., and they love what we're doing, most importantly, in the country and the world. I'd like to ask Johnny to say a few words. He's the head of the whole thing. He's been there for.
All right. That would be one of the cooler things about being the president when it comes to decorating the Oval Office. You could go into, where would they store that? The National Archives or whatever. All these paintings. They probably got thousands of paintings that are just warehoused. Like he said, probably some of which have been down there for over 100 years. That would just absolutely fascinate me to go through those. That'd be really cool. All right, so we'll move on to the next thing here from the Office of the DNI. DNI Gabbard on rooting out the deep state. And she gives a quote, or they actually quote her here. So we'll just play the video.
And when we talk about the deep state actors, it's a term that's commonly used. Maybe folks don't always know who or what we're referring to. What I'm referring to are those who sit within our government, yes, within the intelligence community, but I can tell you as I speak to my colleagues in the Department of Justice and the FBI and these other agencies, there are deep state actors across the federal government, and they are people who, like Vindman, for example, who believe that their actions, their views are more important than those of elected leaders, duly elected by the American people, like
no
the
doubt
President
about that.
of the United States. These are dangerous people because they believe their views and opinions supersede the United States Constitution that they all swear an oath to uphold, to support, and defend, and that their views and opinions supersede those, again, who are elected by the American people, specifically the President of the United States. So I'm going to do my very best every day that I have the privilege of serving our country in this role under President Trump's leadership to root out those bad actors and to try to bring about that institutional change so that this is not something that the American people are continually faced with.
It's going to be pretty hard to top her effectiveness as the head of the DNI. I mean, anybody after her, they're going to have a hell of an uphill battle to do better than she's done so far. All right, so this is from Rep. Keith Self, the people's president. Just some pictures. I want to say this was just the other day when he went out and did the ride-along and everything in D.C. Of course, that's him at McDonald's and with the garbage truck. And then, of course, on July 13th of last summer, very iconic photo that was taken. And we'll just go on to the next one from House Democrats. They're at it again. Trump's tariffs are raising prices, and Republicans' big, ugly law is making healthcare more expensive. The American people want stability. Instead, they're getting nothing but chaos. I didn't plan on looking through these comments, but I guess I'll go just run through a few. I mainly shared that because that's just all they're talking about. I'm basically just sharing the same post every day, but it's not the same post. It's just all they're talking about. They're all in lockstep talking about the same nonsense. Anyway, this would be comical if it weren't so pathetic. Of course, Useless Hakeem runs this clown show. Under the Democrats, goods were locked behind plexiglass because shoplifting was accepted. Higher prices because of the theft. I'm sure it's all still behind plexiglass. And they probably spun it as something COVID related. Oh no, we have to put all the products behind the shelves because, COVID. Because yeah, your everyday voting Democrats, most of them would be like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Lock everything behind plexiglass because, we don't want to get the COVID. The ACA skyrocketed insurance costs and made it considerably worse. So yeah, you know what? Grok, explain. All right. Yeah, let's see what Grok says about it. The House Democrats post refers to two policies. Trump's tariffs. These are import taxes, 10% on all countries since April, higher on some, aimed at protecting U.S. industries, $172 billion estimated for 2025. And critics say they increase costs, so on and so forth, adding $2,400 per year per household. Yeah, right, dude. There is no fucking way. Audi models up $800 to $4,100. Well, you know what? If you're rich enough to drive an Audi, you can handle it. Whatever. I mean, you're going to pay damn near that much just to get your freaking oil and brakes changed. And yeah, probably not much more beyond that. Supporters argued they boost domestic production without broad inflation. The Republicans' big ugly law, a budget bill, which we already know all this. I was thinking that it might have actually shown both sides of the issue, but it's just basically just explaining it in just basic terms. Now y'all concerned with prices? Yeah, really. You're just now getting concerned with prices? Not during Biden when everything went up, like grocery prices went up across the board about 30%. Don't you guys have a 17% approval rating? Yeah. Yeah, they do. But that's okay. Let them keep saying this. Let them keep cheerleading all this nonsense because it's only going to affect their approval rating even more. Stability. Trump turned the compass upside down. Tariffs masquerade as patriotism. The big ugly rings up a copay on your future, and the checkout line is the new border wall. But Chief Powell says, yeah. Tariffs, 18%. Chaos is an accident. It's a business plan. Yeah, not so sure about that. Although I'm sure there were probably times in history where tariffs probably didn't do so well at the time. But just a wild guess, our economy is probably a lot different now than it was in years past. Because, yeah, they did. I can't remember who the presidents were. There was one in like the 1820s. There was another one in like 1890 something where they started pulling tariffs for one reason or another. And apparently it did something to the economy that was a little less than favorable. I mean, I'm kind of putting it lightly, but I don't know the details behind it. But apparently there were issues with tariffs back in the 1800s. But we're not in the 1800s anymore. It's a completely different system now. Chaos brought and paid for by the left. It's all they have. Taxes on you, tariffs. Higher prices for businesses. You pay more at the checkout. No, just don't buy those products. That's what you do. You don't buy them. If a company's trying to raise tariffs on you, or trying to raise prices based on the tariffs that they're supposed to be paying because they're not bringing their businesses back into America, don't give them your money. Just buy American. And yeah, there's probably a few products here and there where you may not have much of a choice because it's exclusively made somewhere else, and that company's going to take advantage of that by jacking up prices. You know, I don't have the answers for all that. I guess you can call, the Bureau of Consumer Protection, or I can't remember what there's a Federal Trade Commission, right? Or, yeah, FCC? Or no, FTC? I don't know, maybe we should all organize and just put them on blast. That's what the left is good at doing. You are here! Y'all just voted for the largest tax increase in history? Nah. You were going about it the wrong way and attacking the Trump administration. You need to get all the taxpayers behind you and not just Democrats. Are you interested? I have something that'll help. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're full of it. Zero credibility. You goat. Bull crap. Obamacare made healthcare more expensive. It made it a lot more expensive. I've gone through that at least 2-3 times on this show. It's gone up a lot. I mean, just look at your health insurance plans like back in, 2007, 8, 9. Way better than it is now. It's horrific now. Anyway, all right. Let's get out of that and go on to the next thing. I didn't even really want to get hung up on that. I was just making the point that they're just every day. Every day, it's just like basically the exact same thing. They're just posting over and over again because they got nothing to say. They've got nothing to back it up. If they had anything to back it up, they would have cited the bill. All they say is the big ugly bill. It's making healthcare more expensive. Okay, do tell. Show us the part in the bill where it's making it more expensive. Give us the details. Why can't you do that? Because they can't. So anyway, this is from Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. Under Trump, female enlistment is surging. The Army just exceeded recruiting goals by 10% as Secretary of Defense restores merit-based standards and pride in service. The warrior ethos effect. Why female enlistment is surging under Trump. And the Army exceeded recruiting goals by 10%. Very cool. Oh, she actually wrote that. I didn't know that she wrote that. I mean, I noticed that it was an opinion piece, but I didn't realize Anna Paulina Luna wrote the freaking thing. Which actually, she would have linked it, surely, right? I would have assumed that she would have linked it. Maybe not. Sometimes they don't. They usually do, but... yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, this is it. This is it. So, at the very least, I'll link this in the description if you want to check it out. So, I'm actually a bit interested because she's my congresswoman. I voted for her like 2 or 3 times. For years, we've watched with frustration as Democratic administrations pulled America's military away from its core mission and dragged it into a culture war that it never asked for. As a veteran and a current service member of the U.S. Armed Forces, we have seen firsthand how the military was transformed under the Biden administration into a progressive playground where identity politics took priority over readiness. Standards were weakened, language was policed, and under the banner of diversity, the integrity and morale of our military was quietly undermined. It's no wonder military recruitment hit historic lows, especially among women, when the Pentagon being forcing female service members to share locker rooms, showers, and sleeping quarters with biological males. It sent a loud message. Women's safety and privacy were no longer a priority. Absolutely. But Yeah, this year, nearly 7,300 more women have enlisted in our armed forces compared to the same time last year. So there you go. There's the meat of it. 7,300 more. That's not in total. That's just more than enlisted last year. So very, very good. And, of course, Doge AI that makes a comment on that. Oh, crap. I think I did it again. Damn it, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Scroll and scroll, scroll. All the way down. I think I'm getting close to the end here. All right, we got through all that. Man, a busy day. A lot happening today. Lot happening. All right, here we go. Yep, so the next one's from Attorney General Pamela Bondi. 719 arrests and 91 illegal guns seized in Washington, D.C. Just yesterday, we made 40 arrests, took 5 more illegal firearms off our streets, and had 36 ICE arrests, including a suspected MS-13 gang member. Thank you, POTUS, for your unwavering support to make D.C. safe again. Up to 719. It's only going to probably be another week or so before they hit the big 1,000. And then also, Caroline Levitt, D.C. Democrats are furious at Trump for stopping all of the homicides. And this is from thefederalist.com. And let's see, hopefully it's not going to paywall me. Hopefully not. You're not going to paywall me, are you? Hopefully not. No, I didn't think that they did. Democrats in Washington, D.C. are furious, not about violent crime spiraling out of control, but because President Donald Trump did something to stop it. A new Washington Post SCAR school poll found that roughly 8 in 10 D.C. residents opposed Trump's deployment of the National Guard. The poll was conducted between August 14th and 17th and surveyed 604 D.C. residents with a plus-minus 4.1 percentage point margin of error. Okay. This outrage was unsurprising given the propaganda press peddled the same narrative in recent days. A quartet of so-called journalists at CNN reported on August 14th that a crowd in D.C. was outraged by federal law enforcement presence. One local, the outlet interviewed, Mara Lasco, called the presence of National Guard troops crazy before adding that it makes people angry. And I don't think they're actually doing anything productive to make our city a safer place, Lasco added. PBS News. Geoff Bennett reported on how residents are adapting to life under federal control as if soldiers were staging a military coup rather than standing guard against thugs. One protester PBS News interviewed said Trump was trying to make it less and less safe and make you more and more scared, and that most people do not want this. Look, you know what these reporters are doing. They're on the ground, and they're asking people, like, what do you think? And then they tell it how it is, or they give their opinion. And if it's a positive opinion, they just delete the footage. Next one, delete that one, delete that one. And then they just go on and on and on until, like person number 36 shows up and says, well, I think most people don't want this. Anyway, the New York Times' Alice McFadden acknowledged in her recent piece on the protest, however, that the district residents are overwhelmingly liberal. Of course they are. And that's the point. D.C. is overwhelmingly liberal, which is why these polls and puff pieces don't actually mean much. Of course, statistics showing roughly 8 in 10 D.C. residents oppose the National Guard would sound more compelling if more than 70% of respondents weren't Democrats, whose reflex answer to anything involving Trump is always wrong. But crime data just released undercuts the left-wing outrage. For the first time in years, D.C. just went 7 straight days without a single homicide. The city also saw an 83% decrease in carjackings, a 46% decrease in robberies, a 21% decrease in car thefts, and a 22% decrease in crime overall, according to Fox 45. You know what? Maybe Democrats are so brainwashed that they really just want crime. Maybe that's how gone they are. I don't think anybody sat back and actually thought of that. That maybe the Democrats have been just completely brain bleached to the point where they just think that anything that's being done around them that might even have a whiff of conservatism attached to it, or America First or Trump, then it's just automatically horrifically bad, and we just want the complete opposite. Oh, Trump wants to stop crime? Oh, no, bring the crime. Bring it all in. Bring it all in. We want every criminal you can possibly muster. We're going to bring them all into the city. Anyway, but surely that can't be true. After all, 65% of poll respondents confidently declared that the deployment will not reduce violent crime in the city. And yet it did. Crime fell, homicides vanished for a week, and D.C. streets are safer than they've been in years, which means the endless outrage from Democrats, the media, and their polling data isn't just wrong, it's ridiculous. They worked themselves into a frenzy over a policy that thus far has been successful. And there you have it. See, I got that whole article done. All right, so this one, again, from Caroline Levitt. Pentagon unveils new medal for troops, which we did check that one out. I guess, I don't know if I may have double posted that one. And this one is from Fox and Friends. Washington, D.C. was a disaster. Secretary Burgum addresses homeless encampments in our national parks. Yeah, they got homeless encampments they're getting rid of.
Well, let's start with the homelessness. The Washington, D.C. was a disaster. About 7 times as many homeless people here per what the population should have been, even compared to other cities that had a homeless problem. And with these encampments, when President Trump back on March 27th put out an executive order to make D.C. clean and beautiful, the U.S. Park Police went to work. All of the little circle parks in D.C., DuPont Circle, Logan Circle, small parks, Triangle Parks, all these places those are federal property. So the federal park police, the U.S. Park Police went to work cleaning those up. Over 75 homeless camps have been removed from all of those areas. Now with the D.C. Metro Police deputized, they're cleaning up those things. So that problem, being taken care of in the city.
Yeah, definitely great. We're getting low on time. We're getting low on time. So yeah, good news. That is good news. Cleaning them out. So this is from Secretary Chris Wright. President Trump delivers on his promises. Over $51 billion in energy investments have been secured thanks to President Trump's strong leadership and commitment to peace through strength. And from Secretary Chris Wright, the Trump effect, a running list of new U.S. investment in President Trump's second term. And we've got, here's a non-comprehensive running list of new U.S.-based investments in President Trump's second term. Make it a little bigger. So Apple, $600 billion. Project Stargate, which is led by Japan-based SoftBank and U.S.-based OpenAI. And Oracle. They all announced a $500 billion private investment in U.S.-based artificial intelligence infrastructure. NVIDIA, $500 billion in AI. So that's $1 trillion in just two different initiatives, $1 trillion toward AI. Micron Technology, $200 billion investment, advanced memory chips and other electronics. Boise, Idaho, modernizing its Manassas, Virginia facility. IBM, $150 billion investment over the next 5 years. Taiwan Semiconductor, TSMC, $100 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. AstraZeneca, $50 billion. Roche, $50 billion. Bristol Myers Squibb, $40 billion. Amazon, $20 billion. And it looks like they're adding another $10 billion and then another $4 billion investment. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. United Arab Emirates, let's see, ADQ and U.S.-based Energy Capital Partners, $25 billion investment into data centers and energy. And Google, $25 billion. Blackstone, $25 billion. Novartis, $23. Hyundai, $21 billion. John Deere, $20. That's a turnaround. I thought John Deere was woke now. Thought they were leaving. Thought they were going to Mexico or something. It's kind of funny how things work out. DAMAC Properties, $20 bill. CMA, CGM, $20 bill. And, I mean, it just keeps going on and on. Global Foundries, First Energy, AbbVie, Merck & Company, PPL, CoreWeave, Westinghouse. I mean, these are all billions of dollars. Stellantis, $5 billion. Ford, $5 billion. General Motors, $4 billion. Mitsubishi, $3.9. Kraft Heinz, GE, Northmark, Biogen, Mars, Kimberly-Clark. I mean, dude, this list is going on and on. Look at this shit. Lego, fucking Legos. They're investing $366 million to build a new distribution center here in Virginia. Anheuser-Busch, Siemens, TS Conductor, Hotpack. I mean, dude, on and on. And that doesn't even include the U.S. investments pledged by foreign countries. UAE, $1.4 trillion. Qatar, $1.2 trillion. Japan, $1 trillion. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion. South Korea, $450 billion. Bahrain, $17 billion. Taiwan announced a pledge to boost its U.S.-based investment. And they didn't even include the EU. The EU is supposed to be investing, it was somewhere around like the $600 billion mark. That is a lot of money coming into the U.S. And that is all under Trump's leadership. That wouldn't have happened under anybody else. That's for damn sure. All right, so for this one from Tom Emmer, 2 wasteful projects down and 1 to go.
Blue Line Extension is one of 3 rail projects Emmer and other Minnesota Republicans targeted in this letter to the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Subcommittee in May. The 2 other commuter lines they hope to kill are now already dead.
Plans are moving forward to end the North Star commuter rail.
The Met Council will soon replace North Star trains with buses. As we first reported, it's now studying what it would take to do the same thing with the Blue Line Extension.
I don't know. Not sure what it would do, but there you go. That was from the GOP Majority Whip, Tom Emmer. And from Ted Cruz, this will be reversed in 3, 2, 1. This is from Bill Mulligan. Breaking, Florida federal judge Kathleen Williams, Obama appointee, of course, is ordering Florida to shut down alligator Alcatraz within 60 days and is blocking the state and Trump administration from bringing any new detainees into the facility from this point forward. She is also demanding that the state start removing all generators, gas, sewage, and etc. from alligator Alcatraz. Dude, she is absolutely insane. This is a temporary restraining order, meaning the merits of the underlying case will continue to be litigated while Judge Williams orders alligator Alcatraz to shut down. Ignoring full steam ahead. She doesn't get to make Article 2 decisions. Yeah? I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. Ted Cruz is pretty confident that they're going to reverse that pretty quickly. And we've got this one here from Rep. Don Bacon. This is President Obama's home states gerrymandering. Look at this shit. Absolutely crazy. Like, what the fuck is this? And then what the hell is this? You really think that tons of Democrats live in that little sliver of space? No. Most certainly not. I would think probably not. But that is just my opinion. And, oh yeah, here, let me just see here. So, after the long term, we shouldn't have political gerrymandering in America. Just a fair fight between Republicans and Democrats based on who's got better ideas. But since Texas is taking direction from a partisan White House and gerrymandering in the middle of a decade to try and maintain the House despite their unpopular policies, I have tremendous respect for how Governor Newsom has approached this. He's put forward a smart, measured approach in California designed to address a very particular problem at a very particular moment in time. Yeah, trying to hijack the country, trying to steal everything away from the Republic, which is for which this country stands, but not under the Democrats. Nope, because over in California, at least 25% of those who are registered to vote in California, they're Republicans. But when you look at the members of Congress in California, they're only representing like, what, 12%? Or no, 9%. Oh, no. They got 9 Republican representatives elected in California out of what, like 52? So it's already very disproportionate to start with. And they're trying to gerrymander another 5 because of what Texas did. I mean, it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. But they can't win fair. They just can't. They can't win straight up. So they're just going to have to play dirty games like gerrymandering. And that's what they're going to do. So anyway, that's all I got for tonight. That was a long one tonight. Got a lot of articles to link. So I really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did enjoy it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot to me. And I'll drop a new show every evening covering the swamp and everyone living in it, the politicians, the bureaucrats, agencies, and everything else. And I also post daily episodes over on X, so feel free to comment over there too if you'd like. And I hope you have a really good rest of your night. Hope you have a great weekend. And until next time, God bless America.